Howdy, folks. I'm Kara, the cranky counting kraken.
I'm Amber.
And here's many tentacled Reddits. All right, folks. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Giving My Friend a Phony Potential Baby Name so she would quit asking? Throw away for privacy reasons. A good college friend of mine named Roxy married my husband's cousin, and our kids will share their last name. We're now in our late 20s, and I'm 29 weeks pregnant, and Roxy just gave birth to her first, a daughter. Being friends, Roxy and I compare notes, but she also kept asking what I would go with name-wise. I told her that she'll find out when the baby comes. Once I found out that I'm having a boy, no, I won't say his name, she got more insistent about what girl name I had picked, saying it's not like it matters anymore, as if I won't have another kid. I got annoyed and asked my husband if I would be wrong to just give her a fake name to get her to shut up. He suggested merda, which is Spanish for poo. I said that to Roxy when she asked me for the 9th time. No exaggeration, that's how many times I remember her asking. It may have been more. They went with that name, but guess what? Their OBGYN speaks Spanish and informed them exactly what that name was. My husband's cousin called to cuss me out, saying that I am a heartless bee for embarrassing him and Roxy, and ruining what should have been the greatest moment of joy in their lives. I didn't think of that angle, and I realized that I wouldn't like it if someone did that to me. So am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I'm gonna go with not the jerk here. She clearly was looking to steal your name. Why didn't she at least Google it, see what it meant or anything like that?
Certainly I can understand if someone falls in love with a name when they first hear it, and they're like, oh, I really want this name. And maybe they trusted that you would be able to pick a name and not be giving them a fake name. And that's why they thought that they were safe with trying to steal this name.
But that's really uncool of them. And that shows that she's not really a good friend if she's looking to, like, if she'd just been, oh, hey, I can't think of a name. Can you throw some out there for me? OP may have been very well happy to help her.
Yeah.
But it sounds like she just wanted to swoop in and steal that name so OP can't use it, because then the kids would have the same first and last names, and that would be the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah, and I mean, what would have happened if they were both having girls or something like that, right? And OP had told her the name. Would she still have stolen it?
Oh, yeah, because she was pregnant first.
Yeah, and that's what I'm guessing, is that she was going to go ahead and take OP's name because of some power move. I'm not really sure. And for them to claim that this ruined the happiest moment of their lives, I think they're kind of losing focus of what the importance of that is. They were given a healthy baby and everything turned out fine from what I understand. That is really what they should be focusing on, not whether or not they picked out a poor name.
Right, well, and they couldn't even be bothered to Google the name. Like, this wasn't like they put all this time and effort into a name. They just took the first name that OP threw at them.
Yeah, and I mean, I could understand their anger if they had asked OP for suggestions, and then OP was like, oh yeah, use this word. That would have been a jerk move, but OP didn't do that.
Well, I also like how OP's husband was the one who came up with the suggestion, but OP's getting all the harassment. Like, maybe they don't know yet, but OP's husband needs to come clean and tell them, like, this was my idea.
Yeah, I think that would be a good course. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Odd Nasty Satisfaction says, no, you didn't know that she was going to steal the name. If it wasn't a bogus name, you would have given her a real one. I'd be mad if they used my girl's name. So no, it's on them. They should have looked into the name's meaning before actually deciding to use it. I was picky about names, looking at the initials, thinking of nicknames and alternate meanings, etc. They were lazy and stole a garbage name. It's not your fault. Not the jerk. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Letting My Husband Starve? I'm a 30-year-old female and I've been married to my husband, a 34-year-old male, Neil, for over 3 years now. We have our basic household chores that we both split. I cook and clean and do bills, and he does laundry, trash, and fixes things. He works in construction and his hours are 4 a.m. to 2 p.m. I work in finance and my hours are wonky. Some days it's 9 to 5 and others it's 12 or 13-hour days. Typically, Wednesdays for me is the longest since it's almost 13 hours a day for me, and usually I don't get home until 9 p.m. or later. I like to meal prep on Sunday for the 3 days ahead, as I barely have time to go out for lunch during a busy workday, especially for Neil. He has been assigned at a prison, and there is one bus to bring all of the men inside to work and one to bring them back out. If he doesn't take his breakfast and lunch in, he would basically not be able to eat anything for the entire 10-hour workday, as there is no food inside the facility for them to buy. We have an understanding that on Wednesdays, since he would have to wash up his Tupperware and cook dinner that one day, so we can have leftovers the next day, as I will be home late. He continuously disregards this and will order in sandwiches for dinner for us, which means I would come home at 8 or 9 p.m., have that as dinner, and start cooking for the next day's breakfast and lunch. I've spoken to him about this multiple times, and he apologizes, states that he was really tired and his body was hurting, which I understand, and he claims that he wouldn't do it again. Well, he did it again. We had another talking, and this time he stated that I promise from now on I will make sure that my Tupperware are washed and will make dinner for us on Wednesdays. And if I don't, you don't have to pack my food. Bet. Well, a couple of weeks go by and everything is great, and he's upholding his part of the chores. He does miss it here and there, but I don't give him a hard time, and I still prep his food. Then mid-quarters come and I'm swamped at work, pulling nearly 70 to 75 hour work weeks, and I'm still doing all my chores and still meal prepping for both of us. Well, last Wednesday I get home at almost 10:15 p.m., and there it was, my takeout sandwich. Nothing cooked, Tupperware was not, my husband was asleep, he goes to bed at 9:30 every day. So I ate my sandwich and I went to bed. At work the next day, I went to get my own food, but I felt really awful throughout the whole day. I get home from work and he's clearly upset. I ask how his day was, and he tells me that he hasn't eaten anything since dinner yesterday, and that I was a real jerk move on my part for letting him starve, especially knowing that he works in construction and he really needs the energy for the day. He said that he was lightheaded towards the end of the day from heavy lifting all day with no sustenance, and he is disappointed in my pettiness. I don't know, I feel really bad, and I feel like I'm in the wrong, and it was definitely petty, but at that time, I felt like enough was enough and felt vindictive. I don't know, guys. Please let me know what you guys think. Sorry for the long post. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Your husband is not respecting you, OP. Even if he didn't want to cook, he could have bought a big takeout meal that would have lasted you multiple days. He knows you're going to have to spend, like, you get home after a long day, and you have to, like, stay up later to cook meals for the next day for him, and he has no regard or respect for OP's time and energy.
OP, I don't think that you're in the wrong. And here's the whole rundown. He already made a promise. He said that if I do this again, you do not have to make me dinner or whatever, right? And you held him to his word. That's really the meat and potatoes here. Pun intended. You upheld your end of the bargain. Just because he was irresponsible doesn't mean that you have to feel bad about it. And the fact that he's trying to guilt you about this is just kind of gross.
Yeah, well, and why didn't he just grab something else on his way out of the house? Like, I understand it wouldn't have been a full meal, but he couldn't have grabbed some, like, a box of cereal or some chips or something. Like, he intentionally left with nothing.
Yeah, I think that was poor planning on his part. And that's not an emergency on your part. You're already doing so much. And I understand that his work is hard and it's labor intensive, and I'm sure he was feeling lightheaded by the end of the day. But again, he did this to himself. If he wasn't married to you, what would he have done instead, right?
Right.
If he was a single man, then how would he get sustenance that way?
He'd have to make all his own meals. And the thing about marriage is it's a partnership. And sometimes you have to do things when you're not feeling 100%. And it doesn't seem like he respects OP's job because, like, yes, it may not be physically demanding, but if you're working 70 to 75 hours a week, that's still going to take a toll on you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I don't think OP is in the wrong at all. Let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for throwing away my daughter's tampons? Yes. Let's move on to the next letter.
Exactly.
My 16-year-old daughter has been using tampons for a while now, and I've always been a bit uneasy about it. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. You know, you don't have to use those. You don't have to use tampons yourself, OP. I come from a more conservative background where tampons weren't really talked about, and I just don't think they're very hygienic. Recently, I stumbled upon her stash of tampons and decided to throw them away. I didn't tell her about it, and I just assumed that she would switch to pads instead. However, when she asked me where her tampons were, I told her that I threw them away, and she got very upset. She said that it was her personal choice and that I had no right to throw away something that she needs. She also said that tampons are perfectly hygienic when used correctly and that I'm being irrational. I understand that it's her body and her choice, but as her father, I just can't get past my discomfort with tampons. Am I the jerk for throwing them away without her permission? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, OP's a major jerk here. Like, it's none of his business what period products his daughter is using. And the way he talks about them, like her stash of tampons, like it's some secretive, awful thing. It's like, one, tampons are hygienic. They're plenty hygienic. They come wrapped in wrapped packages. They're fine. Like, maybe if you find them on the sidewalk, don't use them, but your regular tampons from the store are fine. Two, there's his whole, we didn't talk about tampons. Watch some YouTube videos about periods. They'll be very informative. You'll learn a lot. And, the fact that you didn't talk about them doesn't mean you can just force all this shame and disgust onto your daughter.
Now, OP, I think that you are the jerk in this situation, because again, you're talking about this like, this is something that she's enforcing on you and imposing on you. Mm-hmm. She is using tampons because she wants to use tampons. You should not have a say in this matter. I think that you're just being a really bad individual right now. Certainly, I can understand, like, if you want to keep your children safe, certainly that's understandable. But focus on things that you can have discussions around, like if you don't want your kids using alcohol or, you know, getting into substance, problems, then talk to them in a adult way about those kinds of things, right? I
was just thinking, have you talked to your children about tampons?
Yeah, I mean, but those are the places where you really want to be focusing your attention on, not tampon use. Come on, OP, come on. There are a lot of other hills to die on, and this should not be one of them.
And I know OP's not saying it, but he's probably concerned about the whole virginity thing, like, which is just bogus. The tampons soak up blood. That's all they do.
Yeah. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And L44KSO says, you're the jerk. How is this even a question? And Yogurt Trip says, oh my goodness, you're the jerk. If you don't like tampons, don't use them. But to throw them away on your daughter and not tell her what were you thinking?
Well, and on top of that, it sounds like, I don't know if OP's daughter is buying them herself, or if she has a mother who buys the tampons for her, but like he's taking property that someone else is getting for her, and also just leaving her without period products when she's on her period. That's just so gross.
Yeah, she might also be getting them from school.
Oh, that's true.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Why was the broom late?
Well, the broom was late because the witch was late. And the witch was late because there was a giant accident that involved some newts. It wasn't pleasant, it wasn't pretty, and it was pretty horrific. So, the moral of this story is, if you're a witch, don't get into accidents with newts, because it's going to delay your broom, and your broom is going to be late, and then their broom mate is going to be upset at them when they're not home on time, and it's going to cause a bunch of, like, broom problems, and then everyone's gonna be like, oh my goodness, did you hear about broom A and broom B? Broomda and Broomzilia, they're at odds with each other because Broomda was late because of a newt.
The broom was late because it overswept.
Maybe that was why Broomzilia was late. And I have Megament. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Amber, what is the moral of the story in exactly 7 words?
Don't throw out your kids' period products.
I like it. I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.